Good evening and welcome to another episode of Apolitically Incorrect Guyana. My name is KIAN JABOUR and as usual I am your host this evening. We have a nice light show for you guys this evening. A lot of interesting stuff happening in Guyana over the past week. But before I jump into that, I just wanted to make it clear that I do have our local number up on the screen there. So you guys can see it on the page. The number is 689-8474. My phone is here. I'd like to take a few phone calls from you guys. Let's keep the conversation going. The other number underneath is 231-2982. So you guys can call either of those numbers. The 689 number you'll probably best get on WhatsApp. And that's for overseas guests as well, listeners. But the 231-2982 number is our local landline, so feel free to call it and join in on the conversation this evening. I think the first thing I need to address that everyone has been reaching out to me about has to be blackouts. Now, this is a very new situation. Blackouts are not new. But the frequency of blackouts is something very new to Guyana, something that everyone here is dealing with all the time. And the first point, before I speak about its inconveniences, I think somebody has to mention the amount of money that is being lost by private citizens in their homes and businesses because of what's occurring. We can start with devices blowing in people's homes. We can talk about, the voltage fluctuating. We can talk about commercial goods that are being lost. People that sell perishable items, people that sell ice cream, people that sell drinks, people that sell chicken, things like that. The amount of losses that are being taken across the country now, I think, has become overwhelming to a lot of citizens, overbearing to everyone. But what we're ending up with now is, at some point in time, the government is going to have to look at compensating people for all that's lost, especially with the understanding that blackout is not going, the frequency of these blackouts are not going to be ending anytime soon. Blackouts in general will not be ending anytime soon. But somebody somewhere along the line has to make an appeal to the government, who holds a majority in parliament, who has the authority to do it. You have to start looking at compensating people for what they have lost. This is too much now. I know I've seen, lots of messages all over Facebook. I've had lots of people reach out to me, myself as a business owner. The losses are raking up every day, sometimes you get blackout 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. This is too much now. This is too much. It's affecting children's schooling, right? People don't have enough money to buy generators. Somebody has to make an appeal. They talk about cash grant and COVID grant and school kids grant, blackout grant, throwing it out there. Something has to be done. So I'm hoping that a situation like this, people the government can start to look at as people make up more and more appeals to GPL. I think that's another important thing to mention. GPL is run by the government. GPL is run by the government. Okay? You have to understand this. There is no separation between GPL and the government. They run it. Just like how Barra Jagdeo came on just this week and said, don't worry, they're buying new generators. That's because the government has made a decision for GPL to buy more generators. So please understand, any issue that's being had has to be dealt with by the government. So, with this blackout situation in mind, I'm going to ask the operator to pull up a clip that I had there, and it's really getting to the point where you can now see you can now see a lot of people making an appeal to the government for what is occurring with GPL. It was a Facebook clip. I'm not sure if you guys were able to get it. Sorry, I didn't hear if you had said you were able to receive it. But nonetheless, I hope they're going to bring it up there, because what's happening now is a lot of people are appealing to the government to say, listen, no, sorry, let me, sorry, I'm talking to the guys as we sit here. It is this one. Sorry, it's to a Diki. So we might not, oh, unfortunate. All right, my apologies, guys. So a few of the clips are not going to be able to be had that I have up. Nonetheless, we can just continue the conversation onward, because what's been happening here recently is a lot of blame game has been occurring. All right. One of the headlines recently read, Guyana living, this is the Guyana, sorry, if you have the Guyana Times one, you could bring that one up. The Guyana Times, there you go. There we go, we have everything.
Oh, listen to me, the Guyanese people put you there for...
All right, so you have the clip as well, but nonetheless, we're going to read this one first. This states that Guyana living with effects of APNU botched energy sector. This is Barra Jagdeo on blackouts. I believe he was discussing this at the new opening of the mall over the river. Now, the PPP have been in power for going on 3 years now. Just previous to the 3 years, the PPP were in power for over 20 years. How long are we going to sit down here and play this blame game? How long are we going to sit down here as citizens and accept incompetence? Now, I'm going to ask the operator to please run the clip now of the gentleman that was speaking, so people can understand the frustration.
I would call the president, yes, a president that is now listen to me, the Guyanese people put you there for a reason, to do your job, right? I saw a video with you on your Facebook page. You said that the previous administration concerning this blackout, right, did not put things in place. How many years are you in power, Mr. President? 3 to 4 years now, right? And you, for 4 years, there are 365 days in one year. You understand? And you have not put things in place for GPL. Alright? We have the hydro. How many millions of dollars you guys spend on that? Right? And that is not finished yet. What is really going on? You're dependent on ExxonMobil, right? To create a natural gas plant. Who do you think you are fooling? You are wasting the people money. You understand? We have a heat wave going on. You understand? And you guys are doing everything negative. You think the Guyanese people are stupid? You don't think we see what's going on? Yeah? Money is spending like stupidness. We are the people. We put you there to do your job. We don't have to praise you to do your job. You understand? Stop talking about the previous government and focus on yourself. You're not focusing on yourself and your own political party. People are afraid to speak out about you, what you are doing. I'm not afraid. You understand? I see corruption in this country every day. Right? And I'm going to keep speaking about it. You guys need to change our ways. When you guys came into power, you know how fancy vehicle you guys buy? Eh? When you guys came into power and took the other vehicles, the previous vehicles from the previous government, he said the seats are tearing up or whatever. Man, you could have repaired the seats. Bamsi ain't got no butter on it. You understand? You could have repaired the seats and use the same vehicle, but no. You guys came into power. Fancy vehicle, helicopter transporting you. All is resource, all is the people money. wasting. You understand? 365 days in 1 year. You telling me for 4 years or 3 years you're in power and you couldn't fix GPL problem? Look how many people, poor class people, hustling, selling chickens, selling ice cream and all them things.
And there you guys have it. These are outcries that are occurring all across Guyana now. And what I can tell you I'm pleasantly surprised at is that people are starting to speak up. As was mentioned by this young man, people might be scared. People are in a position that they, are dependent on the government, but at the same time suffering. And blackout is one of these things. I'm going to send... this is very, very important, I think, to send across. It's back over to the other phone. So I hope you can get it. Yeah, I just sent it there. Hopefully they can bring this up. This here is an interesting document, and I'm going to show you why. Because a lot of people ask for proof. A lot of people ask for, the government are making excuses. The government is doing their best. This document here that I'm about to bring up is from the GPL Development and Expansion Report 2022 to 2027. All right. And let me tell you what is very interesting on this document. This shows clearly that the GPL has already known that the amount of energy used or will be required has been calculated, and it is already known that these generators could not produce, these turbines could not produce enough electricity. So what we've had is incompetence, and this is going back to always my theme recently. If you look at the top of this report. All right, this is just an excerpt from the report. All GPL electricity demand, right? You have 2,000, remember this is a 2021 report. You can see it going up if you keep going across 2022, 2023, which is where we are now. And that 2023 number clearly states that by then, which is now, from 2 years ago, we will not be able to produce enough electricity for what is going to be consumed. Now, let's be realistic here, folks. This is also up on my personal private Facebook page if anybody wants to go and get this clip saved. What this shows is that this document is from the GPL themselves report. So they knew we were not going to have enough electricity by now, and they did nothing. It is absolute and utter incompetence. There is no other way you can explain it. So the truth is, now, how exactly, you guys can take it down now. How is it that if they knew that this was going to happen, they've now allowed the country to end up in the state it's in and scrambling to buy new, refurbished turbines, refurbished generators from Honduras. So we buy an old thing to now come in. This is money that's now being spent on top of the Gas to Shore project, on top of the recent headline that Amelia Falls is now going to be taken back into, they're now going to be taking tenders back in to build Amelia Falls. This is illogical. Another important factor in this is something called line loss. Because of the condition of the lines, the wires running all over this country, because of the condition they are in, there is something called line loss, meaning when the electricity leaves the turbine, it travels through the wire and gets to your home. We have, because of poor maintenance, because of poor management, we have about 27% line loss now. 27% of the electricity that is being produced by the GPL turbines, by the electricity company, 27% of it is lost before it even gets to your home. Now, again, you don't need to be a mathematician here, but if we were managing and upkeeping our lines, our distribution system, that 27% would currently be utilized. Meaning, right at this very moment, we would have enough electricity. We would not be experiencing the blackouts. So this is another sign of incompetence with GPL, which is the government. GPL is the government. That's why Barry Jagnew say they're buying turbines. That is why President Irfan Ali is talking about the power outages and how to conserve and cutting people off. The government is GPL. There's no separation. Don't talk to me about GPL people. The government makes those decisions. The head of the government. So I'm going to shift on this exact topic of incompetence, and we're going to get to something very, very serious here. The next headline is, as of recent, the Mahdia COI is ongoing. The tragic, tragic loss of 20 young children in Mahdia. The COI is now currently ongoing, the Commission of Inquiry, in which they're looking into what really occurred. And one of the headlines that came out of the COI, and was all over the news yesterday, I believe, was the COI, a deadly Mahdia fire. Understaffed and ill-equipped station faced uphill battle. Now, this is in the news. This is a headline in the news. Okay, this came out, if you listen to the clips, if you listen to the inquiry, because it's streamed live on some pages, then you will have read, you will have heard that the police station had no completely under-equipped to handle this fire. Now, if they did not have the equipment to handle this fire, who is to blame? Who is to blame for what happened in Mahdia? Like I will continue to say, and I've said over and over on the show, when the whole Mahdia situation occurred, a fire can happen for any reason. Any reason. Everybody got tied up on, it was arson, etc., etc. Court case still ongoing. Nobody has been proven guilty. So let's say this fire happened because they get blackout and they drop a candle and the fire occurred. The fire station would still not have been able to put the fire out, and the loss of lives would have been the same. Now, another aspect that came out of the inquiry recently this week is that an inspection was done 4 months before and a report was made. This is something anywhere else in the world, the heads of government, those in charge, the ministers in charge, would be jailed because it is their responsibility to ensure the management of these facilities are done properly. So when they're not doing their job, people are dying. I don't know how else to explain this. This is the worst tragedy in the history of this country. And we're all just sitting down here and pretending that, don't blame the government or don't blame those in charge that have decided to elect themselves. The ones that take credit every time a school is built or a hospital or a fire station or a police station is built. Look how hard we work and we build a police station or a fire station. But when the school burns down, they're not responsible. So you get the credit for building it, but not the credit for when it fails. That's what we're dealing with. The COI has clearly shown this. This is incompetence. These people have been in power for years. I'm going to now bring up another story of a fire that happened 2 days ago. And I'm going to ask the operator to just flash 3 separate pictures. Just flash them up. 3 separate pictures of the hoses. Look at this. Look at this. These are the hoses that the fire station used 2 nights ago to put out the fire. And hear the joke. The fire never get put out. Thank God nobody died. The fire never get put out. The building burned to the ground. Why? Because of this type of incompetence. Look at those hoses. This is currently ongoing. This happened 2 days ago. The Mahdia fire happened last year. And this is still the condition. And this is in Georgetown. And those people lost everything. 15 people or so, I think, are homeless now because of it. Thank God nobody died. But easily they could have been trapped in that house. If it was another building, it would have been worse. Look at the condition of this thing. Look at this. Who is to blame? And then big, big headlines, all across headlines. Minister Ben on site. Which on site doing? You can't see the Madia school burn down. You know that everything was wrong. And you're still standing up watching this hose like this. The excuse for money is no longer valid. We have unlimited money. We have money, lots and lots and lots and lots of money, billions of dollars. We can't buy a hose. We can't buy something to protect the people of this country, something as basic as a fire hose. This is not incompetence. This is not incompetence. This is the government of Guyana. This is the PPP government running this country, taking praise for everything that they claim is going to see big, big headlines today. Look, we put up lights at a ball field. So who taking responsibility for the hose? You want to take credit for lights? Who taking responsibility for hose? What is going on in this country? What is happening? That is people losing everything. You want to know the next headline? That fire started because of an electrical fault. You want to know why the fault is? Because the house got to be, what, 60 years old? Yes, it could be old, but guess what more than likely started? The blackouts, the flipping blackouts. Okay? Power surges up and down. Lights getting shut off and coming back on and shutting off. Yes, the old wiring can't handle it, and then people ain't got enough money to rewire the house. And now, look at what has happened. Then the house burned down because of the blackouts. And now, I'm sorry, and then they show up with the hose. What madness is that? Sorry, let me just make a statement here. Because I know a statistic came out many years ago, and I think people need to know this, just as a public service announcement to everybody out there. One of the leading causes of domestic fires here in Guyana is actually fans. Like those Lasco fans and those little stand-up fans and so on that people have in their houses. Those fans, especially now with the heat wave, those little fans, those little plastic fans, get really, really, really hot because you're running them so much. And then with the fluctuating current from GPL, people need to be careful and make sure that fan is in a place that if it does get hot and sparks up or anything like that, just be very cautious not to have it near to any curtains or anything like that, or on a mat or something of the sort. Okay, just everybody, please be safe with those things. Again, I don't know how to keep telling you guys that this is just pure and utter incompetence. All right, taking the praise for every little thing, but then not taking the praise. Let me give a little bit of a pet peeve here for you guys. All right, and this one to me is what really angers me, because these are the things you see and you sit down here and you go, what are the priorities here? Now I'm going to bring up an old headline. It says, Jagdeo criticizes Granger for use of helicopter to attend political rally. I'm going to ask the operator to please bring that headline up just so everybody can see. It's from January. Yeah, it's iNews. It's the iNews one. The iNews headline from 2020. January 9th, 2020. It got a yellow helicopter. There you go. Just so everybody can see this clearly. Jagdeo, as in Bara Jagdeo, criticizes Granger's use of helicopter to attend political rally. You know what? Completely agree with Jagdeo. Completely agree with him. Granger should not be using state resources like this to attend political rallies. That is not necessary. That running that helicopter is like $1 million a trip. All right. Now I'm going to bring up a picture, 2 pictures from within the last 2 weeks. It is the one of the First Lady standing in front of the front of our brand new blue helicopter. All right, there we go. Just so everybody knows, this can be found on the First Lady's Facebook page. This is our state helicopter that takes over $1 million a trip to run. All right, just for the trip, just when you got started up the fuel burning, paying engineers, paying pilots, etc. This lady in the yellow is the violinist, wonderfully talented woman, the violinist that came into Guyana to play at the First Lady's brunch. And she decided that she's going to use the state helicopter to fly her to Kaieteur instead, and this is the trick, instead of paying a tour company, which is a local company, Trans-Guyana or Air Services or any of them, which is, I think, is what, $60,000 a round trip. They could have gone and they could have supported the local company, and they could have gone, they could have chartered the whole plane for all I care. It would have still be less than using our helicopter. But then you get pictures of a holy fire hose. But don't worry, we could use $1 million trip to take people on tours to see Kaieteur. Our state money. The next picture, just to hammer this one home, the next picture was taken from social media. I blocked out who it belongs to. Is a picture of the president using the same helicopter to come to the brunch itself. Now this president, our president, the government, the PPP government had just criticized Granger for going to rally, using the helicopter to come to brunch. Yet we got holier than holy fire hoses. And people houses burning down. But don't worry, the government can lavishly hold $50,000 a ticket for all their friends and PPP people to go to brunch, and he can show up like Big Boy to DJ in the state helicopter. But don't worry, 2020, just to show the hypocrisy. 2020, why you using the helicopter to go political rally? But don't worry, we can use it to go brunch. And we can use it to take we friend to see Kaieteur. What's going on here? What's going on in this country? What is occurring in this country? People losing their lives. Hold on, huh? Let me just jump in to show you the state of affairs of this country. The next headline I'm gonna ask them to bring up is of just after this. 2 students assaulted, robbed by 5 men. Just bring this one up for them, please, our viewers, just so they get a real understanding of what happened in this country. Let me read this for you guys. This is yesterday or the day before headline. 2 students, a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old, were assaulted and robbed by 5 men while leaving lessons on Tuesday night. Sorry, so were we in Friday? Right, 3 nights ago. Police headquarters reported that the incident occurred at 19:45 hours on the Diamond Access Road. The 16-year-old was robbed of a Samsung S21 valued at $85,000 and the 15-year-old of a $68,000. Along, read the last line, please, with me. Along with their backpacks of their school books. And here is the kicker. And 200 Guyana dollars cash. Imagine these men. It reminds me of a story. Listen, just understand the connection that I'm making here between the president showing up at a brunch with $1 million tour trip helicopter and the first lady flying her friend to see Kaieteur on it like it's a day tour instead of using one of the local companies, and then children getting robbed of the $200 on their cell phones. Where are we living? What is happening in Guyana? What is the state of affairs in this country? Right? I'm going to tell you. It reminds me of another story of when I was last year with my business. We had some delivery guys that used to come and still do and deliver food to various parts of Georgetown. I'll never forget this. The guys. This is last year actually. I remember the year before. The rider picked up the food, rode off, turned the corner just at the head of the block, turned the corner, and a man hit him with a wood in his helmet and knocked him off his bike. This story was phenomenal. Hit him with a story, knocked him off his bike. The guy luckily was not injured, lying on the ground. The guys took all of his cash, took his cell phone, and here is the best part, and stole the food. Now this baffled me. Because I went, in a crime, you're in the middle of a crime, you're stealing, the man got how much money he got, and you steal his phone, it went worth something if you sell it back. You stole, you had to wait an extra, like even millisecond, even fraction of a second, which puts you as the criminal at risk because you want to be in and out as quick as possible. You took that extra time to pick up that food and run with it. Now, how bad do things have to be for people to be stealing food? Or $200, as you can read. How bad? Things are really, really, really taking a turn, and cost of living gone through the roof. You know, I've really, as personally as I could have been, observing and doing the numbers lately, and I can tell you, it's a worrying situation at this point in time with what is occurring. With what is occurring when it comes to the condition of the country. I have another topic that I've been doing a little bit of research on it recently, because we have to understand at some point in time, and everybody likes to make the comments, well, what's your solution? And I'm going to switch gears to the cost of living at the moment. And obviously everyone knows it's going through the roof. Everybody knows the markets are you can't afford nothing in there right now. I went in the market the other day to buy tomatoes and celery for my restaurant, and they call it the lady that was selling, the auntie that was selling, she's like, oh, this is a rich people thing, man. We call this, and gold dust. That's what they call tomatoes and celery in the market. They call it gold dust, right? Because it's so expensive now. But nonetheless, I've been doing some research on this recently, and like everybody likes to say, like all the PPP supporters like to say, well, it's happening all over the world. And they're right. It's going up all over the world. And what we need to do is we need to be proactive in solutions. And one of the ways, and I'll say this because it is a little complex. It's not very complex. You have to raise the salaries. You have to raise minimum wage. You have to raise public servant salaries. Public servants are always an easy group to focus on, because the government is the largest employer in the country, and the government pays the public servants directly. So it's something that you can look at tangibly. Private sector, depending on what you're doing, will depend on your salary, it ups and downs. But the public sector, the government pays you directly. Different jobs, obviously different amounts of money. But nonetheless, public servant salaries right now are, everybody knows, atrocious. Teachers being paid starting salary was 70,000. Same with police, nurses. I think the average salary is like 120. And we all know that nobody can live on this with the cost of living the way it is. What's interesting is the research I've been doing is, how do you raise their salaries to counter the issue of not having money, or to do it sustainably? And let me tell you what England just did. And this is interesting. I think it's Prime Minister Sunak, Rishi Sunak is his name, right? What they did is they're going to raise public servant salaries in England. Nurses and teachers and doctors. It's a similar hybrid system to us. And what they're doing is they have decided to levy a higher tax against foreigners coming into the country to utilize their resources in order to compensate paying the public servants better. So what they're doing is the work permits, the workers the foreign workers are being taxed differently. The premiums that they're putting, for example, if a foreign company or a foreign worker is to use our hospitals or use our roads or use our electricity, they have to pay a certain tax, because obviously you're here in our country and you're utilizing what us taxpayers are paying for. So what they're doing is, for all the foreign workers, they're adding a certain tax onto their salaries to say, well, if you're living in Guyana and you're earning money here and your company is paying you while you're working here, you have to pay this tax. And they're taking that money and they're paying it back, and they're using it to sustainably add money to the coffers to pay the public servants more. So we just have a booming oil industry. We got foreigners coming through our ears that being paid much more than locals. Why are we not taking a 10% tax from the foreigners' salaries? from all the foreign workers in this country, why can we not take 10% taxes from their money? Because they're not being taxed at the moment. Just so you know that. The foreigners don't pay taxes in Guyana. They are PAYE and so they don't pay. All right? NIS and so they don't pay. All right? Because they paid over abroad. So why can we not get their salaries as they're working here in Guyana, take 10% of their salaries, because they're paid much more than all of us here, by the way, and use that money to raise public servant salaries? Here, for all of you that is looking for a sustainable method, right? Even though we got plenty oil coming through our ears, here is a sustainable method outside of our natural resources to tax people that are utilizing our country, utilizing the services of our public sector. Why not take some money from them and give it to them? Give it to the public workers. There you have it. And these are solutions. These are things that can be levied in Parliament. And this is why I keep preaching. As we have seen over and over with this government, they are protecting Exxon. They are protecting the oil companies, even down to the parent company guarantee in case there's an oil spill. The government, don't let me forget it, the government of Guyana is fighting for Exxon not to have to pay if they got the oil spill. Imagine that. The court ruled that Exxon has to pay full coverage, parent company guarantee, if there is an oil spill. The High Court of Guyana ruled that. And the government of Guyana, who is not involved with the matter, stepped in and is now utilizing state resources and allowed public legal Ministry of Legal Affairs is now fighting, is now appealing the case to say, no, don't charge Exxon. Don't let Exxon pay the money. The Guyanese people got to pay it. Because right now, if there's a spill, the Guyanese people got to pay it. So how could the government be defending Exxon, be defending these companies? Not to mention the big reduction that we luckily catch. God only knows how many more they got going on. But we just catch the government of Guyana reducing the $214 million to $3 million. And now I've thrown this guy, Bobby. I didn't bring up the clip because I'm of the opinion he's a scapegoat. All right? You can't tell me that the government, again, back to incompetence or a lie. You can't tell me that the government of that Barra Jagyo, who's in charge of the oil and gas industry, or the Minister of Natural Resources, or even the permanent Secretary of the Natural Resources, nobody knew that this man decided he writing off $211 million. Nobody could have saw this. No, everybody claiming dumb. No, I don't know how that happened. This man just wake up a morning and say, man, Exxon, man, here now. I get Guyal. Don't worry, I'm feeling generous today, man. I'm writing this money off. That's not how things work. Obviously, if they're writing this thing off, they have to pay. So, at the end, it has to be signed off. Everybody in government knows, every working government knows, nothing don't happen without Barra Jagyo or Irfan Ali knowing about it. Especially $211 million US getting written off. But there you have it. There you have it. I'm going to say now that we have to come up with another solution. If I'm pointing out, since I started here, GPL and all the nonsense that's going on, they knew about the blackouts were coming, they did nothing, incompetence. The fire hoses are in a deplorable manner, houses burning down because they can't use them. The helicopters being taken on private tours with state money, our money paying for it, to go to brunch, to go and have a grand time with PPP and $50,000 ticket people. The average man ain't paying $50,000 a ticket. So is this a private party they got to? Why didn't take the same money for the helicopter? Why didn't take that same money for the helicopter, write $1 million and donate it to the charity? Since it's all for charity. Instead of going and say, here, you ain't doing nothing at the party, Mr. President. You ain't doing, you start up the DJing and skinny your teeth. Why didn't you just take the money that the helicopter costs and give it to the charity? Anyway, I'm showing you all of these things. The $211 million they catch. All this money disappeared. Now, this is why I will tell you we need a minority parliament. This is why I have lended my weight behind a third party. I had just had this conversation with Mr. Lal. We just were talking the other day. Glenn Lal. And I see his newspaper and I looked at him and I said, you're busy quoting Patterson or Harmon or this one or Trotman or this one or that one. And they're the ones that signed the shit deal in the first place. So I understand you're just making it seem like the ones that started the issue look like the savior. No. Oh, all of a sudden they're ready to renegotiate. Why didn't they do that when they went in there? Why did they sign the deal in the first place? But now, Mr. Jagdeo, who claims that he was going to renegotiate, as we all know, he ain't doing nothing neither. So I understand. So we watching the PPP and the PNC do the identical things, defend Exxon when they collect their money, everybody get rich, and nothing anybody can do about it. That's why we have to have a minority parliament. That's why you have to vote for ANUG or third parties. All right? They have to vote for anybody else except for the PPP and the PNC. Because when it comes to a minority parliament, let PPP run the country. Irfan could stay as president. Vice president can stay at Barrett Jagdeo. But at least when it comes to parliament, auditing and scrutinizing can be done. Accountability will be had. When you come to the parliament and say, budget now, we need $100 million to run the helicopter all over the country. And we can sit down there and say, well, no, you're not getting money for the helicopter to go on to brunch. You're not getting money for the helicopter to go and carry your friends on tours. No. Go and support the local companies doing it. Go and support Trans-Guyana. Go and support Air Services. Go and support JAGS. Go and support any of the companies that run in these tours. $60,000 return. Go and jump in the plane like everybody else. We all got to do it. What happened? The plane safe? Well, if it's not safe, you're dead. Even more so, you run the aviation sector. Tell me why the plane is safe if you're South African. But if it's not fair, then why not supporting the local companies? This is all a joke. It's ridiculous. All right, we have to get to the point now where accountability has to be had. All right? You telling me I stand up in Parliament and I hear that this man, Bobby, as you claim, is the man that gave away $211 million to Exxon, wrote it off. I want to see the documents. Bring the documents to Parliament and show the country. Let me see who signed off on it. But no, we don't have that. The government could go and hide all of the stuff. We can't see nothing. So you tell me where the accountability is. You tell me, you stand up here now, and you tell me I standing up in Parliament, right? ANUG in Parliament is a minority government. They turn and they say they need $5 billion more for the fire service. Well, here now, you show me where the last $5 million gone. If they thief out, you show me where it gone. You show me why they got no new hoses. Show me where the $5 billion gone that we gave you last year. But this is what doesn't occur in Guyana. There is no accountability. So guess what? They could just do anything they want. They could burn down. They could leave Madi, a school where 20 children dead. They could leave that school to rot. Have a report on the table. The minister then got a report on the table that school is not up to standard, not up to fire code. 4 months later, the school burned down, 20 children dead. Who you blame? Not the man who got a report and then do nothing? Then they want to come back to Parliament and say, hey, we need more money. That is competence. These people are dying. Then 2 days ago, you watched the hose. So you tell me if anything has been done since Mahdi's school burn down. Look the hose. What is going on here? What is going on in this country? We have to get a minority parliament come 2025. I'm appealing to all of you there. Vote ANUG, vote a third party. Do not vote for PPP or PNC. People are dying. Houses are burning. Electricity GPL is blackout every day. They're doing nothing. Water shortage. Land of many waters, we got water shortage in Guyana. Where are the rivers there? The rivers ain't dry up. How are they not sanitizing, cleansing that water and using it? How do we not have a plant like this set up? All we billions of dollars in oil money. Give me a break. Give me a break. Stop making excuses for nonsense. This is our children we're talking about here. All of our children going to these schools. These are our houses. Listen, on that note, I'm going to end on that note, guys. I'm going to cut it a little short because it is a Friday evening, and thank you all you guys for listening. We had more road accidents again recently. Just So every day you open it and there's another road accident. These minibuses or these sand trucks or even these police vehicles are a danger on this road. They are a danger on this road and nothing is being done about it. All of a sudden, a crash happened, 3 people dead, everybody kick up a storm, the police put 2 barricades on the East Bank and say, look, we've heightened security. No, because 2 weeks later, they got no more barricade. The Bali barricade's gone already. So nothing is being done. It's just painting it over. It's like a crack in your wall and they're painting it. We need a minority government in this country, one that will not join APNU and PPP, one that will stay independent in the middle. And here now, AFC failed us, so we had to learn from it. We will not, you have to learn. AFC should have stayed in the middle, and that would have held these governments accountable. And that is what needs to happen now. We need a third party in the middle that will stay in the middle. Do not join those two. Work with everybody and make this country grow. Make sure the money is going back to the people. Make sure there is accountability. That is what we need. And that is why I back ANUG, a third party, to make sure that I can stand here and I can say we will never join those two parties. We will never join PPP or APNU. We will hold them accountable. All right? On that note, guys, thank you very, very much for joining me. I want you all to have a very safe Friday evening, please. Feel free to message me on WhatsApp on that number 689-84724 if you're seeing the show later on. WhatsApp is the best thing to do all the time. Please just message or send a voice note and I'll pick it up eventually. On that note, my name is KIAN JABOUR. This is Apolitically Incorrect Guyana, and I will be back here hopefully next week, God sparing. And we will have another vibrant discussion on things happening in and around Guyana. On that note, take care. Have a great evening, everyone.